Hello guys, and welcome back again to another amazing episode. And as you guys already know, this is the diaspora transition episode where we speak with diasporans who decided to leave the diaspora and relocate to the continent. And today we are here in Ghana. I have a nice gentleman here with me. He moved from the US to Ghana with his wife, to relocate, and actually he's a Ghanaian, but he lived in the US for some time. If you've watched our the previous videos, we had a debate between Kay, Daniel, and then Jeff, right? Where Jeff believed that it's not possible to make it here in Ghana until he goes to the US, UK, where he can find his greener pastures. And on the other hand, the diaspora who moved back disagreed with him, saying there's a lot of opportunities here in Ghana, that he is not thinking in a way for him to identify them. And one gentleman also, reacted to that interview saying that, listen, Jeffrey is thinking everything wrong, and that's why he's not seeing opportunities. So I'm here with him to, kind of have a dialogue with him. Speak with him. He has a very beautiful home, which I did an interview with him. Go check it out here. Built a very beautiful home. And at the age of just 28 or 27, which is impressive, right? So I really want to have a dialogue. How can this young gentleman have that mindset to get everything that he has and wants, to do great things? Where does he get inspiration from? And so without further ado, I'll let him introduce himself. So Rash, welcome back again on the show.
Thank you, Captain Hilford. Thank you. All right, so my name is Rosa Sari. I was on this channel, I think, about 4 months ago with my wife. And here I'm by myself with Hilford. Happy to be here and, answer all the questions that Hilford has for me. Yeah. And hopefully, give you guys some tips on how to survive in Ghana.
Yeah. So one of the things that really stood out to me, right? Behind cameras, even before our first interview, you seem to have a very different mindset. Even being a Ghanaian, I want to ask you, is it because you lived in the diaspora that gave you that mindset, or where did that come from?
What do you mean? The mindset that you have to be a producer and not a consumer?
Right.
It's universal. So there are a lot of people in the West or in the diaspora who still think like, for lack of a better word, Jeffrey, there is the employee mindset, and then there is the producer entrepreneur mindset. So if you are thinking from the employee's mindset, unless you get lucky and you work your way up, it would take a long time in order for you to be able to, accomplish what I was able to do at such a young age. It's just not possible. Nobody's gonna pay you that amount of money when you're just starting out, right? There are a few exceptions, both in Ghana and in the West, for somebody to give you that amount of money, like at a very young age. It's gonna take time. In your 40s or something like that, people are, working at very high corporate levels and they're making like $250,000 a year, right? And it was a time where I was making way more than that in like a month, right?
Really?
By trading and all that stuff. So I learned this. I met a friend of mine, it's actually a white dude, and I talk about this a lot. He encouraged me not to move, but he brought my mind to Africa in general, because he saw the trend of like Ghana being like the fastest growing country in Africa. Not only Africa, but when you put it on a map with like the world, it's really like, yeah, like the GDP growth is like, it was just crazy. So that's what, brought my attention to Africa and Ghana in this case, which I'm very fortunate to be from, so it's easier. It's easier. Actually, I respect the people who move here and they're not from here and just get the ball rolling, because I know it's not easy. But in Ghana, one thing I notice is, because I do have some friends in Ghana who are doing really well, and it's not easy to make it as an employee unless you are lucky. It's not impossible. And it's not just Ghana, it's in the West as well. But the West, the difference is maybe the probability of you getting a job that will pay you well enough to do something great is much higher than Ghana, if you're being honest. That's where Jeffrey definitely got it right? Because the pay here just doesn't make sense. So it's the employee mindset versus the producer mindset, right? So I'm more on the producer side. I think that's what my mindset is. Yeah. It's tough. Not everybody's cut off for that. I understand that, and we gotta know what we're made out of, what you can take and what you cannot, and play your role. And I think I'm built for the highest stress tolerance, so I chose the producer part, and it's not easy. It's not always easy, man. So when I was going back, right, if I were to write a book, because I do think about this a lot, when I was younger, I've always been a very brilliant kid when it comes to like taking money or kind of leading people. I think that was natural because when I was in Ghana, I'll organize teams to go play soccer. I'll put my money on it, right? Like put like maybe 80% of it will be my money because I was a hustler. I used to cut grass with a cutlass. I used to go and cut like trees from the forest and sell it for the people who are doing like, you know, the stones setup. I used to do all of that stuff when I was very, very young because I left Ghana when I was like 14. So since 8, I've been hustling and leading kids. Everybody knows like this guy, you know, he's always trying to like trick us, right? And I think it was part of me. But when I went to the States, it was a whole different world out there. My father was extremely strict on me because the Bronx is quite dangerous. I didn't understand as a kid. Like I felt like, you know, I was so free in Ghana and I'm here. I'm locked in an apartment. My father would be calling me as soon as I get out of school. Like I had no freedom. So that was not easy at all. Like I didn't like it. The first 2-3 years I really didn't like it. But then you meet friends and all that. So much so that I ran away to go to the military. And my father is a really hard worker, you know, so work ethic has always been there. But like the producer, entrepreneur side, I never really thought of it until much later in my life. So I was like, you know, doing well from the average mediocre life as far as like working in the military, saving money. I have great credit score, you know, my car, I tried to pay my car off within 3 years instead of 6. Didn't have any debt. So yeah, I went to the military, you know, I didn't really think, and that's one thing I noticed as well, as far as like being aware, like awareness, I learned along the way, but I wasn't really thinking about where my mindset really was. But looking back, I wasn't doing really bad. You know, I paid my car off, didn't put myself into any crazy debt. Luckily, I met my wife. That helped me out a lot because the first year was a lot of partying and blowing money, but I didn't go in the negative. But I blew all the money within the first year.
Can we talk more about that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what made you want to live that lifestyle then when you had a little bit of money at that time? What influenced your decision at that point in time to go that way, buying fancy clothes, Gucci, and
oh, that went on for a long time. But so that went for a long time. So when I was in school, right, my father was very good to us. Like always give us like, you know, $20 to go to school every day. It was like 10 and it went all the way to 20 by the time I was done. My father really is like about control, so he really took good care of us. He didn't want us to work, right? So, you know, in American school system, they give you food. So I didn't really spend that money. I would be saving that money. I think that helped me with management at a very early age, honestly. I would buy clothes because my school was like fashion. There was a lot of gangsters and stuff. So these kids, they do all kind of illegal activities. And then they'll be wearing like the expensive clothes, like the jackets. And I was fascinated, right? Because when you're in Ghana, and I think that's what actually, sorry, I'm digressing here, but I think that's actually why most people are like thinking like, oh my God, this and that. Because you watch a lot of music videos and you see these rappers wearing all these designers and you feel like that was exactly the same thing. When I got there, it's like you just jump on the rat race, right? You jump on it. So I was on the rat race. And I always wanted this stuff. You save the money, you could buy some if you're lucky. I think the whole time I was in high school, I was lucky enough to buy 2 fancy stuff that I wanted. Everything else was like not bad, but was the normal. Like it's 2 like, oh, how did you get that, right? It's only 2. I think I bought Fomposite sneakers, and I gave my father a lot of pain to buy me like this bomber jacket at one point. So when I got out and I started making my money, because it was like 18 and I was making money, I just went nuts. I just went nuts and I bought all the stuff that I wanted and I couldn't afford. And like I said, I didn't go in debt, but I just spent my money like crazy. And then we went on deployment. Deployment is when the ship. So I was in the Navy. So after 1 year, I had 0 to show for. 0 to show for. 0. I didn't have a car then. I had 0. So no debt, nothing to show for. I mean, the pay wasn't a lot in the military, especially starting out. But I could have saved some, you know? I was partying. I never had a chance to go out. So I was partying like every Friday, Saturday, I was out with my friends, just blowing the money. Just blowing. I was a consumer, like an avid consumer, right? So when we went on deployment for 9 months, you stuck on a ship. You know, every once in a while you get to hit a country on your way. So you only have 4 days to really spend your money. And I was very aware of like I'm saving, you know, and I wasn't making a lot. I came back with like 30K when I was 19, way back then.
When you came out of the Navy?
No. When I came back from the deployment.
Okay.
So my second year.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I came back from the deployment, I had $30,000 cash, and that's when I'm like, you know, I bought my car. I put $10,000 down. I had like 1.9% interest rate, very low, because my credit was good, and then I paid off in 3 years. And that's when I was like, man, I was still buying these designers though. But it wasn't hurting my pocket. I was still buying the designers. I've always had like 15K in my account ever since I was 19. Never went below that.
Very, very young.
Yeah. So I wasn't doing like massively well. I was just the average mediocre life. I was there. I felt like I was doing well for myself. I didn't see anything beyond that. I had a nice car, nice credit, you know, until I met this guy who kind of opened my eyes to reading books. So that's what we lack. I think down here people don't go. I was good in school. I never had a problem with school. As a matter of fact, my wife always fights me. I have a whole bunch of girls always calling me, Rush, how do you do this? How do you do that? I'm always helping people out.
Yeah.
So I did that throughout whole college. My wife was always fighting me on that.
You got married very early.
Yeah, no, but I was with her we weren't married then. But I've been with her for like 10 years. We've been together for a long time. So we were living together. And, you know, I'll be talking to, you know, girls, like teaching them and, you know, taking tests for girls. People pay me to take tests for them. Yeah.
So you are that smart.
I don't consider myself that smart, but especially accounting and all that, it's easy for me. I understand business, it's easy. And people didn't get it.
They didn't get it, right?
People didn't get it. People didn't get it. People didn't get it. I think I took this tax class, and I had my education here before I went. So when I went to it started from high school. When I went to the States, I was ahead of these kids.
Really?
I was ahead of these kids.
Is that means the Ghana education system is that good compared to what we have in the US?
No, I wouldn't say it's good in the sense that will make you into a better person, or a better like entrepreneur, a better critical thinker. Absolutely not.
A better person writing exams.
A better student at memorizing stuff. Because this is what happened. When I was in Ghana, they would test you on like 6 months materials. I'm sure if you went to school in Ghana, you know that. So your brain, like the ability of you retaining information for like, you know, I think that's where the training came from. People can't do that because you learn something for like 1 month and they test you and that's it. It will never come up again. So I think that's the advantage. Like I can put stuff. And in my brain too, I told you, I see everything. I could tell you everything from everybody. Yeah. So yeah, it was easy for me. It was easy for me, and yeah.
But then you didn't embark on an entrepreneurial journey until you started reading books.
Exactly. So I met this guy. In the gym, and I picked up the gym habit in the military, just working out 5-6 times a week. It's been like that for the past 11 years. You know, unless I'm traveling, even that I'll get some push-ups in and try to hit it. Like I don't take break. I met this guy. He really saw me. He liked how I work, how I look. Older white guy. I think he's like 42 now. And you know, we became friends. So he used to work out with me every day for 5 days. And though I was smart in school, I never picked up a book to read on my own, like a book outside, ever. Everything I read was like the book that was given to me in the school. And there is really no benefit from that. Like out in the real world, there is absolute zero that you can do with that. Yes, there is nothing. Like maybe you might, if you're lucky, and I was in accounting, so if you're lucky, you might know some history. But you know, like I took East Asian civilization, and I know Mao and all these fights that happen. But what am I gonna do with that? It's good to know, but what am I gonna do with that, right? And then you know, math and accounting. Even accounting is all theoretical. So when you go to the actual job, you have to get your hands on and actually figure it out. But it did help me though when I was learning the stock market because I had an understanding already. But it's reading like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, all these books. Like when he put me on, I was hooked. Start with Why, all this whole bunch of books. I read like I think like 70 books in 1 year, and then audio books and all that. So I've read a lot of books. But since that's where the mindset changed, like wow. So then I'm like, I look at human beings as equations, right? So I'm like the Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all these people are doing well. None of them are actually like employees. Like. You know, you don't think about this stuff, but then I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Like, I became aware of this. I'm like, it's a no-brainer. And also, I learned that you need the determination. Like, you have to have a strong why, right? That I have a strong why I'm in Ghana. Because unlike most people who complain about America this, UK can't make money, I can't be on that team.
I see you were speaking about a victim mindset.
Yeah, I can't be on that team. I'm never a victim. I was doing really well in America. The only reason I came to Ghana is because I want to help. Like I see there is a movement going on, and I want to help contribute to it. That's my why. Not because it's impossible to make it in America or whatever. Like I believe, like drop me anywhere, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Like
because you have the mindset that can.
Exactly. So drop me anywhere, and you have to understand the system that you're in. Every country there is a system, right? So in Ghana there is a system that's not gonna benefit you as the employee. You know, so you have to have that mindset that if you're doing that, you gotta have like it's temporary. You want to save money, yada yada, and do that. And I did that in the States, right? So you gotta know the system that you're in. Some people figure it out. As I mentioned to you, I have a lot of local Ghanaians who have way more money than except this white guy that I told you.
Tell me the stories you told. You said something behind the scenes.
So I was talking to you about this
Signature,
today.
yeah.
Signature. So today I went to sign some documents for, a family friend. Let's put it that way. He's buying 2-bedroom apartment in the Signature. Like, you can't miss that building when you come to Ghana.
No.
So, and then I told you that we can't go in yet because they put down some down payments, but they're going through the mortgage system. They got a 2-bedroom. But I have a friend who bought 3-bedroom cash in Ghana. He never Ghanaian living in Ghana. He started small, and also my neighborhood actually the biggest house in the neighborhood is not mine. It's actually a guy. I don't want to say his name, but the guy, huge house, born, raised, everything in Ghana, right? And he does distribution for Casa Perco. But he started very small, very humble. So it's your attitude, right? He started very small, just like very respectful. And the boss was like, you know what, I'm gonna make you a distributor. Wow. And that just changed everything for him. And he's a huge, big shot guy now. Wow. I didn't know people who could spend that amount of money, except this guy that I'm talking about. But this guy was like generational wealth, this white dude, right? So it's more than possible here. But like I said, most of the people have their own stuff going on, right? Or they started from small. The problem that we have now is everybody wants quick, right? We get used to quick. And me of all people should know that. You get used to quick. Because when I was making money in the market, it was quick. And then when you come back to reality, like, okay, it was just a time. You got lucky at this point. But, it takes time.
Let's talk about you making money from the market. You did stocks, right?
Right.
I think let's really go a little bit deeper. You said in the beginning that you were making about 200K, like in a.
I think the most I made
like in
like
a month.
270.
Oh no, a day.
4 in a day. That was the most. It's not every day. One day that happened.
Like, how does that feel like as a young Ghanaian guy? You grow up, you did you went to the military, and then stumbled upon a knowledge where now you can be able to make $200,000 in a day. That's someone yearly salary.
Nah, it would take some people like 10 years to make that amount of money in cash because, it was surreal. And, sometimes luck is on your side. Honestly, you know what you're doing, but the market is crazy, man. The market only 10%, maybe even less, come out positive, not making money, positive at the end of the year. It's brutal if you're being a trader. So I think luck was on my side, really. I knew what I was doing, but to make that amount of money in a day, because I didn't put a lot of money in it. You have to put a lot in it to make that amount of money in a day. So it was good, but I wasn't naive, so I knew that, you have to use that money. When the money comes, you have to use it for something tangible. Because just as you got it fast, it can go out just like that. That's how that game is played. So when the money comes in, you got to divert some of it into physical assets that you cannot easily lose. A friend of mine made a lot of money, lost all of it.
Yeah. You told me about how much was he making in a day?
I think he made $1 million, not in a day. In a day, I think the most he makes is like 250. But he lost all the money, all of it.
How?
The same thing. As you made the money, he lost it.
Reinvesting into it and it never came back.
Because it's up and down, right?
Right. You making millions in stocks, right? That point moving forward, did that change your belief system or?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's talk about it.
So, I was working for KPMG, right? Breaking my back, right? Breaking my back. KPMG is like the big 4 accounting firm. I didn't last there for that long. I interned for them for 2 months. And then they gave me a full-time offer during COVID. And I ended up working for them from October to December, and then I left. So collectively, I worked for like maybe five months. And I was breaking my back, man, doing my internship, like crazy hours. I've worked 100 hours a week before. The longest days that I worked was like 18 hours a day, right? 18 hours a day was crazy. And the amount of money I was making, I think we were starting off, because I was an intern, they were paying us overtime, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I think I ended up making like 32K in 2.5 months. It was okay. After taxes, it was okay. But then when I became full-time, that's where they get you. So actually, they have a high turnover rate because most people leave. Once you have the badge that you've worked for this company before, it's a huge company. Once you have that badge, you can become a big shot. Like, you know, everybody wants you because it shows that you can really take on a lot of stress. So paying 65K, that's how I started off with KPMG as a full-time, because there's no overtime, and they work you to, like, I did the math. I'm all about the math, man. I did the math. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. And seeing me making that amount of money sometimes in a day or multiple occasions, that amount happened on multiple occasions, I'm like, I'm playing the wrong game. So I'm like, yeah, I give it to them, like, I'm out. Like, I sent them my 2 weeks notice that I'm out. They really liked me. What I was trading and working at the same time. So
because if you were doing this for them, all that money would have went to them, and then they would have given you a commission of that.
What I was doing was different.
Okay.
But if you're a trader, I could. So right now, if I were to work for somebody, I would be a trader, because traders are actually treated fairly. They give you commissions based on how much you make in the. I was an accountant. Okay. So we're keeping the books of banks and all that stuff. I wasn't making them money. I was working.
Okay.
But from that background, you need to know how to analyze, you know, income statement, balance sheet, and all that stuff. That's accounting. But then you can use the same knowledge and then apply it to stocks, but you have to learn more. But this is like the fundamentals. So it helped me, like learning this stuff. It helped me.
What would you advise the typical Ghanaian who have heard it over time that it's not possible to make it? What would you advise a typical Ghanaian? What mindset do they have to have? How do they go about all this, elevating themselves to the point where they've read enough books to, you know?
Yeah, you gotta start with books, right? You gotta start with books, and then you will know that, you know, and just be observant. Just ask your questions. Just ask questions and just look at reality. You know, barefaced. I know people are like, you know, struggling, but some people made it. You can't. No Ghanaian can tell me that it's impossible to make it here. You know, it's some exaggeration to it. It's harder, absolutely. But there are some people making it. So how did they make it? That should be the question. That should be what you should be looking at. How did they make it?
You know, there's a saying here in Ghana, anyone who has money is like blood money. They don't believe it's actual money.
That's another problem. See, that's a problem. I think that's actually very, you know, ignorant of them, most people, because, and I think that's a get out of jail free card or make themselves feel better, right? Because if somebody had the money and they actually work hard to get it, I don't know about the rest, but I do know people who work really hard. Some people are even working, like my neighbors, they're all working in Ghana making money, you know, and they have houses and stuff like that. Some people make it. But the average Ghanaian will be like, oh, this person is using some black magic. And that just gives them a pass. They don't have to.
So then they give up completely, and
they don't have to analyze how they made it to see the possibility, nothing. They just, it's impossible. Like they went to some malam, right? Even me, I think they wrote some article about me, and then the comments, they were saying that I should show them the malam I went to. you know what I'm saying? But in reality, I read a lot of books and did all this stuff in order to do, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think that's the problem. People don't try to get what did this person do, like the actual physical stuff that they did, right? And they run to this superstition side. And that's it. That just ends there. So they are there like it's impossible. And it's also about mindset, right? So you can never attract what you look down on. So if you think people who are making money are evil and they're going to the malam and all that, then God said, okay, then I'll keep you on the other side.
Yeah. That's very typical of Ghanaians. You know, I've spoken to the average Ghanaian, and then when you tell them it's possible to make it here, they're like, have you seen someone here in Ghana who made his money genuinely? Everyone is doing blood money, but whatever that is called. So it's a misconception, right?
Absolutely.
I want you to, let's compare things. Let's go back to the US. Let's look at businesses like, you know, Rockefeller.
Yes.
Their money.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Look at Henry Ford, the people who built America. Go and look at videos of how America was about 100 years ago in the 1800s. People literally had to do exactly what people are doing in Ghana. People had to go to hell to build stuff. It took time to be. It used to, nowadays that we have internet, and if you're lucky, you can like trade in and make some. It takes time. And there's something called compounding. Taking baby steps. Buy 1 house, 2 houses, then you go to 4 houses. It's a mathematical equation behind this. It takes time. It literally takes time, and it propels on, So I feel like we are impatient here, and we just want to run to like what's already made. The system, you cannot win that argument. The system out there is much better. Absolutely. I don't think you can ignore that or try to like.
But when you compare to our system to their system at their time.
Exactly.
Right? Because it was not this in the beginning.
Thank you. So if you when I look at America, like when they gained the independence in less than 100 years, they were not here.
No.
You get what I mean? They were on horses. They should go look at pictures. They built, people, there was a gold rush in California. People walked there. The people went to California, walked miles and miles away to get there. It was brutal, man. People went through it to build that country that you see now, and you like, people want to run there, and it's like, they are impatient. It's impatience. I get it. It's tough, but that's how it was. That's how these Western countries, that's how it was built. It was built on the back of course, slavery, and also it was hard. It was like hard manpower, building roads and all that. It took time. It took time, and yeah.
Do you think we are distracted by this Western media just showing us you could leave Ghana and come to America? You don't have to, sacrifice yourself to build a system. Is that contributing to why Ghanaians have that mindset, you'd say?
I don't think that the West, I have yet to see like anything like them encourage people to come. As a matter of fact, they try to keep people out. So they're not encouraging people to come. I think they are more of like, over the years, I think now people could see what's going on. Over the years, people have been brainwashed of how bad Africa looks, like how everybody's starving, there's no opportunities here. And if you watch the television, because I would tell you, if you go to New York and other parts of America, you'll be surprised. You'll say, is this America? People are living really poorly in some places. Trust me. Some people are very poor. Some people are very, very poor. If you do some research, you see.
How poor are we talking about?
The same poor as Ghana, like poor, living with cockroaches, don't have heating system when it's cold. The whole thing, it happens. There's a lot of homeless people, but most of these people are like on drugs. Let's get into that. There's a huge addiction to drugs. There's there are a lot of inherent risks that we don't have here. So it's not all about money, right? You got to compare the two. But if you want to look at like the system and stuff, you can't compare. America is way ahead of us, or the West, but we got work to do. So if we were all to get up and say, I want my visa, I'm out of here, then who do you expect to build here? Because the Chinese and Lebanese are busy building Ghana. You know what I'm saying?
But it's the same way. I think there's foreigners are the only people identifying the opportunities on the continent.
You do need, and a few Ghanaians.
But then there's a minority.
Because I think, so it goes back to the school system. Though we've been trained to, retain information for a long time, worthless information for a long time, how our brains are programmed. They don't really teach us how to critically think and look at, and the superstition aspect of things. People don't think about starting. The mindset is they want what's already done. Even when you drive, right? So I'm fortunate enough to buy a very fancy car. So when I drive, when somebody see you, just like, hey boss, give me something.
Give me some money.
Like you feel like
dash me something.
They just want to take. Like they want they're already done. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to go through the pain and the struggle. And I'm wired differently, So everybody's wired differently. Me personally, I don't like comfort. Like I like the challenge that comes with it. If I like comfort, I would be in America. Cause like I said, my life was really great. It was well put together. I was fine. I was fine. Like.
But let's speak a little bit about you embarking on the journey and even building your home here. And you're also into real estate now.
Yeah. So I have a company, Arcadian Limited, www.arcadianltd.com. You can check us out. So we do solar installation. We sell land, we design your home, build for you, everything from start to finish. Everything. Home.
They don't have to do just
everything. You could just do the whole package for you. Even put solar on top of it. We have customized furniture for you. So we do everything in that space. And then we also do website, development and all that stuff. So that's been great. We started off small. And we have multiple projects ongoing right now. We've designed a lot of houses, well over 20, just in this first half year. So, and yeah, so it's picking
but
up.
how did that come about for you to be able to see that you can provide service to people in that way?
Right. So the thing is, so since I became a producer, right, the entrepreneur, you think differently.
Yes.
You become a producer, and I'm always looking at, I don't do something and hope that it will take off. You look for a problem and you solve it. That's what entrepreneurship is. Look for a problem. If you're complaining about something all the time, that's what I tell people. You complain about something all the time, can you solve it? If the answer is yes, then maybe you can make money there because you're not the only one complaining, you know? So mine was, growing up, I've heard the stories of people sending money back home and getting screwed by family members. That was like, that's like the norm. Every Ghanaian knows this, right? You send the money in, somebody will be taking pictures of somebody's house for over the years, you think you're building, and then you come and, you know? So my friend, who is my business partner in this, I don't own the company alone, I own with my friend equally 50-50. When I was about to build my house, I noticed that he's an architect, you know, and I went to school with him in the States for a couple of years before he moved back to Ghana. And he moved, his parents brought him back to Ghana when he was really young. He was just there for like 2 years and they brought him back. So we were connected, and he was an architect, and I'm like, you know, I'm planning on coming back to Ghana because I wanted to build a gym, as I mentioned in our previous interview.
Right.
So he was like, yeah, I'm an architect, and then he walked me through the whole process. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I want you to handle everything. Initially, I wanted him to do the design and then get family members involved, send the money to them. But I mean, how the things, and I'm very big on energy, right?
Right.
I'm very big on energy. How things were going, I'm like, I like the vibe. Like, I like where
there's
this
transparency,
is going.
there's
trust
and
and I felt the energy. I felt like everything's gonna go well.
Right.
So, I mean, I knew this guy when he was like 15. I don't know how he is now that he's 27. I don't know if he's different. Like, he would take my money and run away with it. But I just believe I listened to myself, and I just believe like everything's gonna go well. And it wasn't like he would do it. Initially, that's what I thought. Like, he would do, you know, what he set out to do. But he came out with a contract, ensured the money that I was sending in, ensured the project itself.
Everything was
paperwork, like well documented, which means it's not about trust anymore. But I didn't know this initially. I decided to go with him, and then this came in. Like, oh, before we move forward, I got to give you this and that and that.
Which is even better.
Which was far better. Like, I have nothing to lose now.
Right.
But some people don't understand paperwork. You know?
And this is beautiful, being two Ghanaians, going to the same school, right? And now working, partnering with each other. This is beautiful. This is something that we need more to happen. Do you see it happen often? That's
the problem too. I think that is one of our biggest problems in Africa as well, right? Because the banking system sucks. The banking system sucks. So we are all we got, right? Like, if I want to start something that will cost me like $50,000, I might have like 5,000. I'm just giving an example. I might have like 5. 10 of us can make it happen. Most companies, that's how it starts in America. You know, because you know, you could use your credit and all that, but it's not easy for banks to give you money, especially when you start. Nobody wants to help you. That's universal. When you start, nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to, unless you have a proven record. Like somebody like Elon Musk can have a crazy idea, and people will give him a lot of money because he has a proven track record of him being able to make money. But if you are starting out, nobody wants to give you money. It's universal. The bank won't give you money, but what the advantage that you have in the West is you have your credit, or if you have a home that you can refinance or something to get. You have a way of being smart. They call it bootstrapping. You have a way of being smart and then getting the ball rolling. We don't have that here, so we got. So if I want to do something, that's like 50K.
You have to bring it up by yourself, 100%.
So we need like 10 of us. But the problem here is, I don't trust you. You don't trust me.
where is that coming from? If you,
I think most of us, unfortunately, the way we are here is we don't tell the truth. Everybody's trying to get each other. There are some good people, like my business partner. You know, like it's just full trust on stuff. We're not on like, oh, this, then we are really like in this, right? Like marriage in a way. Like you trust each other, whatnot, you know? You need that. It's not gonna work. And we don't trust each other here at all. And we are kind of arrogant in a way that people want to own everything by themselves. And so, name one big company that's like all one person. It doesn't happen. You need other people. So we need to you know, it's mindset, man. We need a lot of mindset work to be done to change things around, you know?
Yeah. Do you think someone coming from a home where probably there's no person who have ever made it, describe a strategy someone like that can use to escape that? You said the books part. I totally understand. But what would you have done if you're in a position like that to come out of that?
The book, you need the books. You need skills. So the reason why you're struggling is not, you need to stop thinking about this person gonna hire me and this and that. What you learn in school is not really gonna help you out. Let's be honest.
Really?
It's not. You gotta learn stuff on your own.
So why are we going to the schools anyway?
It's good. It's good for you know, learning how to read and all that. It's some basic need in the beginning, like some basic social skills. You will meet friends and all that. But it's not setting you up to do anything.
So it's like you just have to do your due diligence, and the rest is you and the world.
It's you. So the problem is, and this is also a problem in the West for most people actually. Once they graduate, they think they are done. They never pick up a book or any skill, try to learn any skill. They are done. I mean, look at you, my friend. You're a YouTuber. I'm sure you didn't learn this video editing and stuff. You have some amazing skills. To this day. Exactly. There you go. You're still learning. Most of us, we graduate and then we're home and we say the government.
I'm done with education.
And you say the government, man, the government is this, the government is that. But you can learn all this stuff now. YouTube, you can. There is no excuses now. Before maybe, but there is no excuses now. YouTube, you can learn how to edit videos. I had this young kid, like 17 years. He's in Ghana. He edited. I posted some shorts on my WhatsApp. You've seen it, right?
I saw. Yes, the reels with the.
You know who did that? I was just sitting there, and this kid, 17 years old in Ghana, sent this to me and said, you know, can you please check this out? I looked at it, I'm like, this is nice. He edited my video, and I'm like, well, thanks for, you know, telling me you can post it. It's fine. That you're giving me publicity, it's fine. And he said, no, I made it for you.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, okay, cool. He made a second one. But I know eventually he wants something from me. We don't know how to do that. He learned. So first of all, he learned how to edit these videos. 17 years old. He learned how to edit these videos. And you know, maybe he might say, you know,
by providing you that value, next year you might be.
Now he got my attention because most of the messages I don't even, you know, pay attention to, right? So he got my attention now. I know his name. And he might say, you know what, I'll make you 3 videos a week and give me 300 CDs a month or whatever. He could do it for multiple people. He just started something. You know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it's about skills acquisition, and we are lazy. We are lazy, man. We are lazy.
Are you really?
We are hard working, but we are lazy at learning. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The boring stuff. Ghanaians are hard working. I'm not gonna take that away. Like when you see people like, you know, put in the work, like, but like the critical thinking is, you know, critical thinking sucks more than hard labor. It sucks.
Yeah.
Critical thinking, sitting down.
It's boring to people.
It's very boring. It takes tremendous amount of discipline to sit down and learn something. Nobody's on your back, like do your homework. You know, it requires a lot of discipline. But hard working, like
in Ghana, if you try to teach someone or to exchange ideas and feed off each other, they say you are too known. Have you heard of that before?
Before I answer that, what I love about you is you are very good at like implementing something right away, right? That's something that we are very good at listening. We lack that here. I think we are too arrogant, man. Like we are too arrogant. Like can't be humble and listen to somebody and try to see where they're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Too arrogant. Too arrogant. That's a problem. The two known.
They say it's Ohieni stubborn proud.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are so selfish, man. I mean, I'll give you a great example, right? Since there is no names, I'll give you a great example. So we try to go in this deal. Trying to go in a deal with this family. They have a land, and we're trying to put like shops on there. And they want to go into joint venture. So in joint venture, you don't buy. They don't want to sell the land. They want us to build, but what they wanted makes no sense. It's like they want us to do charity for them or something.
Really?
So everything has a value, right? You bring your land, there is a price on it. Even though you don't want to sell, there is a price on the land to begin with. So that's where we start the negotiation. I asked you, how much do you think the land is going to cost? Based on your own numbers, I'm throwing this out there. Based on your own numbers, like 100,000 Ghana cedis. And in something like this, since we're not buying the land, let's make 150. Give you 50% more. And based on that, how much we're gonna put in it? Let's say you were 20% owner. Based on when we do the math, you're 20%. Now it's $1 million, or no? Let's say it's 500,000 altogether. Now you got 20%. It's way more than that. So we give you something. We just We just help you out. You got 20%, and then we're good. We share the money whenever it comes up. The shops you can rent it out in 5 years, 10 years in bulk. The first, let's say it's 10 stores, up and down 20 in total. The first 5 years, you know, if you renting one out for 500 CDs, the first 5 years, I think we make like about 600,000 Ghana cedis. The first 5 years, if you got 20% of that, you know, you got some good money going on, right? You got some good money going.
Right.
You almost got your land value.
Which is passive too.
What happened?
I mean, it's passive to the person.
Yeah, it's passive, and it's gonna keep on going. And they wanted some money up front. I'm just giving an example how our mindset is. They just want something else fun in their pocket. So no problem. We give you like maybe 15,000 Ghana cedis in your pocket, so everybody's, you know, happy, right? We're all happy. Then they turn around and say, no, we want 30,000, and then you can't have the shop for that long. We want the shop back in 15 years. And I'm like, you think this is charity? Because I'm making like 100% in 15 years, and you want everything back. Like it makes.
So after you break even, they want it back.
Yeah.
So you don't have any profit.
Yeah. No, you make profit. Like after 15 years, you make profit like times 2. I could make that in the market in a year. Why would I come and put that? It doesn't make sense. I'm saving you. I could go and buy land elsewhere and build, and everything will be mine. So we're not thinking.
People bargain for too much when it comes to partnership.
People are bargaining for too much. People are thinking about what's mine. So she's so worried about when she can get the money, the thing, and say this is all mine. Instead of being a partner and taking a percentage, which makes so much sense. Because if you were to sell, you get 150, you sold, you're done. The first time you rent out, the first 5 years, you got your money back already, and you're gonna keep collecting as time goes on. Rent goes up, you keep collecting. It's a win-win situation. It's a more win situation for you than it is for us, honestly, because we can easily go find land, buy it for that amount, and then be good to go. So why are you being so selfish? And now that threw me off. So we're like, no, we're not doing it. Now they're begging us. But that's because when we're negotiating, I tell them like, yo, we have a problem here. You just think about when I can get this back, and be like, you know, I did this. It's all mine, right? Like, this
would you say the average Ghanaian is greedy?
Greedy.
Yeah.
100% greedy, and not only greed. Like, this is mine. You know, we have that. This is all mine. Like, we don't like sharing. We have that very primitive way of thinking that this is like it has to be when she talks.
What good quality have you found in the U.S. in those society that you think Ghanaians can adapt to help us propel our, you know, the economical growth?
Well, let's don't get me wrong here. People are very, you know, arrogant and very ignorant in the West as well. But the vast majority of people understand partnerships. People understand fairness with dealing. Like a deal like this, like, it makes no sense, right? People don't care. People have so much examples to look at that you don't have to own everything 100% to make money. You know, Jeff Bezos, I think, barely owns 20% of Amazon.
Really?
Yes.
And he's still a billionaire.
Nobody. Bill Gates owns, like, I think it's only Mark Zuckerberg who was selfish enough to be able to like maintain like 70% or 60%. Most of these people end up like, by the time you make other people rich in the process. So I think people have this proof that it works, that you don't have to own everything by yourself in order to make it. We need that understanding, because together, yeah, you work. It gets boring if you're the only one doing it. It gets boring sometimes. You need that partner.
Let's say a parent is watching this, right? What do you think should be some things they should embed in their children so that they would have that mindset when they grow up?
Continuous education. Of course, be humble. Be humble, because I gave you an example of this guy in my neighborhood who has the biggest house. He was very humble at work, and he came from nothing. And you know, the owner said, you know what, I'm going to make you rich, and made him a distributor. That's it. Because your attitude is don't steal, tell the truth. That's the problem we have. You give carpenters money and then they're gone. You know, this guy.
I saw a video you posted on your YouTube channel, and then someone came to steal something on the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, they stole my pressure battery for the washing cars.
Yeah. So when you give someone opportunity, they steal from you.
Yeah, that's easy. So this guy that we've been working with for a long time, and this is what you go to. Clients don't have to know about this because we will take care of it. But you know, installing windows, we've worked with this guy, and then the trust is there. Like, it's been years. You give him a big chunk of money. He was gone, bro. It's gone. We can't find the guy.
Really?
Yeah, it's normal. carpenters. You work with somebody and all of a sudden, bam, they're gone. It's
Just
normal.
like that.
It's normal. And then they would say, Ghana is hard, but they messed up the opportunities. Like we have all these projects going on. So that's it. Just telling the truth. Be impatient. We're impatient. So it's the impatience that leads people to stealing. Because they're just impatient. They see the money, they get greedy. They're not thinking about long term. So this carpenter, the money that especially the glass guy, he could make that money in like 2 projects.
If he could stick around.
He'd be making that money. But he just needed a big chunk. I don't know what it was for, but just blew his, you know what I'm saying? So we think short term, just today, right? Even the workers say themselves, the workers, the laborers, when they come to work really hard, they say that in the Yenyeska or try baba bio. So they get the money, they will go and blow today, they will come back tomorrow. So that's how the mindset is for most people out here. And
Is it because I've seen I think Lebanese family, I met one guy who his parents moved to Ghana like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And bought lands at very remote places where it's not fancy at all.
Right.
The road there is very ugly.
Right.
But fast forward, they have inherited the lands and have built resorts and stuff like that. And they understood that it was a journey.
Right.
His parents knew they wouldn't get their money back ASAP.
Right.
But they understood the process.
Right.
But most Ghanaians just want to invest into something and just get their money back ASAP.
Today, yeah.
Or they think they failed, they want to go back to the West. Can you speak on that a little bit?
It's patience.
When it comes to the patience.
As I mentioned, it's patience. We have a lot of people in East Legon. As most people can attest to, East Legon was a forest not long ago. Even when you drive by East Legon, you see some villages sometimes, right? And where I'm at right now, where I bought my land about 6 years ago, it was a forest. And that place is like, you've been there. You see like all the houses coming up. It's patience. And I think you have the opportunity here, right? There's a lot of people, the people who are running the West, where we're going, the people who are running it. These are people, they had the same opportunities that we have now. Their grandfathers acquired land and all this like California. I just talked about the gold rush. They bought the same situation that you just presented. They bought land and all that stuff, and then things come in later as time goes on. They build a country. So we have the patience to do that. If you have the opportunity to go to the West, it's easier to make money. You can make it here, but if the opportunity comes, absolutely take it. Because if you are smart enough, because life could be tough out there, man. Especially if you go in there with without documents, man. You should see these people, man. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's tough.
Well, I watched a YouTube, I know it's an Instagram reel of a young Ghanaian man who went to the US. I think his brother took him there, but he doesn't have papers. They call it green card or something.
Yeah, green card. Yeah.
So then he applied for a job. He got a job, but he was meant to come in for biodata.
Right.
So he went in as him, filled the forms and everything, and they got to the point where he has to do a thumbprint.
Right.
And then his brother have to dress the same way, wear the same glasses and everything to come do it, which is very dangerous.
Right. So people do that all the time. People fabricate they will stamp your face on somebody's name, ID, and then you work. Actually, this was in the news. Some Ghanaian lady who got deported because she was working. So when you're working, if you're undocumented immigrant, that's what you are. They will be paying you less. You're gonna be getting your pay is not gonna be like minimum wage because you can't go to anybody. Like
you're gonna get less than minimum wage.
Yeah. You're not a citizen. You're not part of the country. You're not supposed to be here. You know what I mean? So they're gonna pay you really low, and then it's gonna go to somebody's account. You can't have a bank account. And in America, everything is.
So someone takes it and they give it to you.
Yeah, it has to go to. So let's say you are in America. I'm the one who has documents. I want to help you out. You're gonna go in as Rosh Shasari, but your face will be yours on mine. We do that. They have ways of doing that. Your face will be on my name. So all my information, age, everything will be you, but it's your face. So you'll be the worker, you'll be everything, but you under somebody's name.
Wow.
And then, so when you get paid, it has to come to my bank account.
Before you give me.
Before I give it to you.
Yeah.
So there was a situation in Ghana where this lady went there. She worked really hard, and the money was going to this lady who was trying to help her out. But in true reality, she was using her. So after the money piled up, she was fighting the lady for the money, and the lady called the cops on her, and she got deported. So,
wow.
So yeah, when you don't have paperwork, it's tough out there. You have to pay a lot of money to get married to somebody as fake. It's not a joke.
Yeah. So why would we go through all those hassle rather than just coming back home and doing something here for ourselves?
We don't believe it. Actually, let me tell you a story. We don't believe that it's possible. So my father went through the same thing. My father went to America through like, he was a chairman, right? My father was a chairman. And then they went with it.
Say it in English for people who don't.
What was
Is it spokesperson or spokesman or whatever?
Yeah. Spokesperson. Yeah. I don't know the whole royalty thing. I don't know the English, but so my father was like the spokesperson. Went with the Kings. He was supposed to go for an event for the weekend, right? And then and then that's it. Is it you have to pay for this stuff? So they got a visa through that, and they all went together. I think it was like 6 of them. So the king and his slave and the spokesperson, they had the whole thing orchestrated, right?
Yeah.
And then when the king gets there, he will leave you guys and you on your own. So lucky my father knew somebody, but my father had 3 cars here. He had a poultry farm. My mom had a restaurant. Life was not bad. We were not rich by any means, but it was not too bad.
So then, if I understand, when the king went with your father, he didn't come back again together.
The king came back.
Okay.
But then the servants and all that, it was all orchestrated. So he would do it again.
Oh wow.
The king would do it again.
Wow. So go bring another.
The king would do it again, like maybe 3 years or 2 years from that. He would do it again, like a different team. That's how my mom went too. But that one, my father had to pay for both the queen woman and my mom was a slave.
Wow. Really?
Because my father. So my father had to do that, and he was lucky. Sometimes these people know, the hassle that you have to go through to get this. Once they take the money, some of them want to get divorced the next week.
Really?
Yeah, and then they give you hell. You gotta keep paying. They will be taking your money.
Wow.
Some people
they're extorting you then.
Yeah, they're extorting you. Some people go really through hell to go through this. Actually, a friend of mine had to, he did it. He was in France. He came to study in America, and he stayed. And then so he became like illegal to be there. And then he had to marry somebody. First person took money. The day of the signed document didn't go through. And then he did it again with this girl. And then he spoke to me. I'm like, join the military. Because when you join the military and you have your documents, you become a citizen. Instead of waiting for 5 years, you become a citizen right away. So he did that. Once he joined, the girl wanted a divorce.
Wow.
To bust his balls, right? So he saved himself from that. So you have to go through a lot of stuff. It took my father like maybe 8 years to fully establish, like try to get his documentation, green card. And my father came to visit Ghana and saw this guy who's never left Ghana, driving a Land Cruiser V8. And before that, my father thought like you can't do anything in Ghana, like he didn't, and that opened his eyes, man. So my father got multiple businesses here, like
that woke him up, like
yeah. So people can make it here. It's slow. It takes time, It takes time.
It's possible to make it if you're watching this. Do they still do the marriage for green card thing?
Yeah, they're still doing this thing.
Guys, if you're a lady and you're watching this video,
but
there's a business out there for
They are very strict. They are very strict.
Oh, so now it's not possible to do that?
No, it's possible. It's strict.
But strict.
It's very, very strict. So, yeah, but it's more than possible to do it here. It's not easy because, the money you need in order to start, because like I said, nobody's going to pay you well unless you are lucky and you end up at a place where somebody pays you. It doesn't happen often here. It's tough.
Where we are currently filming, it's called Bureau. Bureau is a co-working space where you're moving from the US, UK, Canada. You want to come down here to work remotely. You need somewhere with fast internet, constant electricity, no doomsaw, right? They have a plant which is a generator, so you never run out of electricity or nothing. It's very smooth. You don't even realize you just left the US or wherever you're coming from, So their link is going to be in the description. Book your, your space. They serve you coffee in the morning. It's free coffee. Check it out, okay? And anytime you're in Ghana, come check it out, and you thank me later. So, Rash, if you do have a final message that you want to share with the audience, what would that message be?
Both the diasporans and Ghanaians, if you're in Ghana, dispel the myth, demystify it, and know that it's possible to make it here. I'm not saying it's easy, but it wasn't easy in America in the 1800s, 1700s, when they were building America. You have to understand that. Be patient. Stop comparing yourself to the rappers. That's what makes people impatient. It's not how the real reality works. And be patient. If the opportunity comes, I'm not saying that if the opportunity presents itself. Like me, my parents took me. That was easier for me. It makes sense. You know what I mean? But you don't have to go across the river and all that stuff. People are dying, and I mean, going on YouTube and learning a skill is that much harder than, risking your life to cross a river. So that's that for Ghanaians. If you're in the West, you are fortunate to have money, if you can save money, which I know is not easy because taxes, and I was paying 50% in New York. Taxes. 50%.
So everybody you make, you pay 50% to the government?
Yeah.
Interesting.
State and federal. It's state and federal. Depends. It's progressive. So if you manage to save some of the money that you made, come set up something home. As I give the example, my father, and my father is happy as hell that he did that. So, that's the message. Try to do something back home because, your brothers are struggling as they are crying, like you hear from Jeffrey. You got to set up something and employ more people and try to pay them well than what they are getting paid for, because that's why people are crying. And that's why I aspire to do, try to pay people 50%, 60% more than
the minimum
elsewhere.
wage.
Yeah.
I like that.
Not minimum wage. Like the amount of people always saying you paying this guy too much.
Really?
Yeah, because I put myself in their shoes, man.
So you pay more than the minimum wage, I think.
Way more than the minimum.
Way more than
yeah,
that.
yeah, minimum.
Oh,
wage.
why would you do that?
Man, people gotta survive, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People gotta survive. If somebody's working for me, I try to treat you well, so you don't have the, because sometimes people steal from you
because you don't pay them well.
Because they are strapped. I mean, 400 cedis a month.
You can't
How?
even fill your tank, right?
You know what I mean? How? So you try to pay people well, like 4 or 5 times that, and
I like that.
And so long as we could do it, give bonuses when things are good. Try to treat people well, and they will pay you back with loyalty. So
I like that. Now you are into business here. You've
Yes.
identified opportunities. Just give this as a gift to entrepreneurs moving into Ghana. What business do you think they should just do or focus on when they do touchdown?
Okay, so you got to book consultation, but if you don't, there are people like, oh, move to Ghana. Ghana is not for everybody. Some people have like a genuine life. They have kids. They are good in the West. That's fine. You just have to set up something here. And if you are not trying to, I met up with this guy, so I think this is easy to come off. If you are not planning on living here, you definitely need to look into real estate, because that one you can easily monitor it. Like if you're renting out long term, you know how much is coming. It's easy. If it's Airbnb, you can control your own account. It's easy to monitor. So real estate is very easy. If you are not living here, like nobody can cheat you on that. So it's easy, right? You need to go with stuff that you can easily monitor. Because if you put all the trust in someone, unless you have kids like my father, luckily, my older brother, my older sister took care of everything. That's the only way. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna screw you. If you are planning on moving down here, real estate of course is huge as well. It's good there. There is hospitality business. You see a lot of very high-end salons in East Legon, barbershop. People are bringing what they know from the West. As the barbershops and the salons that I see here, it's more fancier than any salon that I've seen in the West. Absolutely.
No
10
way.
times.
No way. Really?
I promise you. In this one, Clara is always saying that I miss that. Like, you go to some crappy stuff in New York, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
So we are behind America in terms of infrastructure, and you are saying there's a saloon in Ghana right now based on this West state, and it's better than the one in the US.
Like salons. Even barbershop, how like it's decorated, how they take care of it. In some places, I'm not saying all of them. In some places in Instagram, way nice. I've never been to anything not just as nice. Like, So I think Ghanaians really care about like aesthetics and putting the place together. It's not easy to come across those in New York. New York, everything is boring. It's like everything is like all like systemized and it's just box and just getting the money, But Ghana is like they have a whole theme,
Beauty
like
to it.
they have the whole wabi-sabi vibe here and there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, just bring what you know in the West. Ghanaians love beautiful stuff, as I just mentioned. So your design gotta be on point. It's a lot. There's a lot of opportunities there. Whatever you're used to in the West, you come here and you just look around. You will see where you can implement it. Right? It all is the lack of you have a huge advantage by just having as little as $20,000 cash being in Ghana.
All they need.
That's not all you need, but you have a huge advantage by just having that. Because there are people with a whole bunch of ideas, but they can't get that money.
$20,000 is 200,000 Ghana cedi. That's not so much.
It's not. You have a huge advantage over a lot of people to start something in an area where it's lacking something that because you live in the West.
Okay, I like that. Now, if you want more advice go check him out on YouTube. He does consultation. Okay, you can get to sit down with him one-on-one to actually get the inside information on what goes down, what not to do if you're a business owner and you want to establish here. He has done it. He has built a beautiful home and he's doing that for other people, you know, providing this kind of service. And if you want that, reach out to him. Link in the description to his YouTube channel, and also his email is in the description. And thank you guys for watching. It's been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Captain Hereford.
And I appreciate that. So without further ado, should we say bye-bye to them?
All right, man.
All right, peace out.
Peace.